leader who has been in the desert for too long, comes to save the people who've been waiting for their whole life while seeking revenge against an enemy that destroyed his family by using his gifts to see into the future. Today we will be recapping a 2024 movie called Dune Part-2, which picks up right where the last one left off. Under the light of a dying sun, Stilgar and his Freeman tribe, along with Paul and Jessica, continue their journey through the desert, still being pursued by the Harkonnens, who are now spreading their reach even further. The Fremen are preparing to fight back, prompting Paul to take action instead of hiding, while his mother, Jessica, protects him. The Freemen take from the Harkonnens whatever they can, including water and other supplies. While in the desert, Jessica's battle was also her morning sickness. The group erases any traces of their presence before moving on to a settlement called Siege Tabra. The Harkonnens' leader, Rabban, is informed by one of his men that they should take all their soldiers out of the Fremen territories since they are losing many. He learns that communications are hectic in the desert, but he calls the Freemen hairy rats before he gets angry and beats down his soldier when he suggests that he should rest. Paul and Jessica arrive in Siege Tabra, and one of the Fremen asks why they are late and if Paul is a spy. There, the community, who are under a cave, condemns the group who return from the desert for getting one of their soldiers named Jameis killed as they cried for him. They called Paul and Jessica a spy and a witch. However, a group of people come and bow to Paul while trying to stop the others from calling him names. Their reactions to Paul are mixed. Some dismiss him as an outsider, while others believe he might fulfill ancient prophecies, referring to him as their Messiah. Stilgar converses with the elder leaders, encouraging them to support Paul. They argue with him, saying that the desert should decide his fate, but he pledges his life for him, explaining how he killed Jameis. He is certain that he will learn their ways easily. Paul, on the other hand, is struggling with the local food while being trained. Stilgar takes Jessica and shows her the place where they store water. They keep the waters from dead people, and no one drinks from that place no matter how thirsty they get. And because she is the mother of the Lisan al-Ghalib, she knows the prophecies, and she learns that she will be replacing their Reverend Mother, for she is recruited as Bene Gesserit. She asks if he believes in Paul, and he tells her that there are signs. He tells her that if she refuses to be Reverend Mother, then Paul is not Lisan al-Ghalib, and she will have no purpose but to give her water to the well. Paul thinks it's an honor to become Reverend Mother, but Jessica tells him she was given two choices to become this or to die. He sees that she is scared, and she tells him by becoming Reverend Mother she is tasked with holding the memories of the ones who were before them, so she will be given centuries of pain and sorrow. She tells him it's lethal for men. Jessica goes to the Freeman nuns as she tries to make her fear go away before they make her drink the water of life to see if she will survive it. Paul is worried about his mother when he sees Chani laughing with her friends. He understands that they don't believe in it, calling it the Southern beliefs. Southern tribes believe a Messiah will come to deliver them from evil, but they only believe in Freeman. Stilgar comes outside to pray, and Paul gets curious and asks where he is from to learn that he came from the south. Chani stops her friend from mocking Paul as he is about to lose his mother to poison. After drinking the water, Jessica loses control, and the nuns learn that she is pregnant. This act not only solidifies her position among the Freemen, but also grants her heightened awareness, awakening the consciousness of her unborn daughter, Aliyah. Stilgar, coming from a region driven by extreme beliefs, tells the others the prophecy is real and happening as it is written, but they fight him, saying that the Mahdi must be a Freeman. Paul stops their bantering and tells them his mother is trained to survive the poison, as poison transmutation is something advanced Bene Gesserit can do. Paul clarifies that he does not consider himself a prophet or the Mahdi, but rather someone who seeks to learn from them and fight alongside them. Jessica tells him that the baby talks to her, and she tells her that she believes in him. She demands that he takes only a step, and he will become the Kwisatz Haderach. Paul trains with Stilgar, who tells him to be one with the desert. He sends him across the plain desert, and to come back suggesting he better start the journey at night. This is to prove that the prophet shall know the ways of the desert as it is written. He trains with Chani, who teaches him about desert survival skills and how to gather moisture. They launch a successful mission against the Harkonnens' spice operations, with Paul's skills resulting in an effective disaster on the enemy. He saves Chani's life and helps destroy their ship. As their successes grow, so does Paul's standing among the Freemen. He tells them he learned to fight from his father and his master, who were killed. They have been fighting with the Harkonnens for centuries. He tells them he knows their habits and their ways of thinking. Since the Fremen know the desert, he tells them it is possible to bury the Harkonnens where they belong. He becomes one of them, and he earns the title Muad'Dib, a name that resonates powerfully with the tribe. They all call him Paul Muad'Dib Usul as they hug him. Paul tells Chani about how water rains from the sky where he comes from and all about water. They share a kiss, and he feels accepted by the Freemen. He has a vision where an apocalyptic holy war is fought in his name and people starving. He goes to the desert and rides the biggest worm that makes all the Freemen celebrate and respect him. Jessica listens as her unborn daughter talks to her, assuring her that the Freemen have accepted Paul, and he needs to move to the south for bigger purposes. Jessica asks him to go with her when she moves to the south, but he insists he stay, as he is there to protect all of them. Paul leads a series of attacks on Harkonnen's spice depot in Arrakeen. Rabban decides to find and kill Muad'Dib. He goes to the desert with his soldiers, only to escape after many of them die. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen appoints his cruel nephew Fade Rautha as a birthday gift to crush the Freemen after a fight with the hostages they held from Arrakeen. Fade Rautha mercilessly kills them both, and Baron Vladimir Harkonnen promises him that he will make him an emperor if he does his job well. Fade Rautha meets with Lady Margot, who is a Bene Gesserit, and who went there to test his character and to conceive a baby to secure the bloodline. They tested him to have control over him if he prevailed on Arrakis and became their ruler. In one of the battles with Harkonnens, Paul finds his mentor Gurney Halleck, who was presumed dead, and learns that he stayed alive by hiding with a band of smugglers to evade being captured. He takes him with him, but the Fremen are suspicious of him. However, Chani chooses to trust in Paul. Gurney warns Paul that his path leads to war, and if he doesn't want to raise an army in the south, he still has an option of firepower, and he can help him because he knows where Paul's father hid the family atomics, and he shows them the place. Jessica asked one of the ladies to show her how the Freemen capture sandworms and get the water of life. She hypnotizes and convinces the woman to let Paul have a drink when he comes later. On the other hand, Harkonnen's attack on the northern Fremen, Fade Rautha's strategy, makes Baron Vladimir Harkonnen happy, and Fade Rautha arrogantly makes his Rabban kiss feet. Paul is not happy with the idea of him going to the south because of the visions he sees and orders everyone to go except for him. He sees a vision where he is told he needs to drink the water of life in order to see. Chani encourages him to go along with them. Fade Rautha arrives in the desert and burns the remains of the caves before he sends a message to the Baron to start working on the spice harvest. He finds a spy Fremen who stays while the others leave for the south riding a sandworm. After getting there, Paul undergoes a dangerous ritual of drinking the water of life. When Chani arrives, she finds him unconscious and blames Jessica for killing her own son. Chani is also part of the prophecy, and Paul gains consciousness with her help. This moment hardens his identity as the Kwisatz Haderach, a figure foretold to bring change. Paul shows his fearlessness, and Jessica manipulates the situation to further amplify Paul's image and gain followers while restraining him from the serious consequences of his actions. Chani tries to stop the Freemen from their nonsense about the prophecies, but Paul arrives and tells the people about their past before he declares himself as their leader, who will show them the way to paradise. Paul challenges their ways and wins their loyalty through a display of power and understanding of their histories. Harnessing his knowledge, he connects with them, unifying their focus against a common foe. Paul consolidates the Freemen into a formidable army and challenges Emperor Shaddam IV directly. The Emperor arrives on Arrakis with his elite Sardaukar troops, hoping to crush Paul's rebellion. He confronts Baron Vladimir Harkonnen about who Muad'Dib is and if he's ever been to the south of Arrakis. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen tries to tell that the south side of Arrakis is inhabitable, but the Emperor insists that he must find Muad'Dib. Paul uses a combination of atomic weapons, sandworms, and a superior strategy to weaken the Sardaukar forces and seize control. His soldiers fight on the outside with the others, while he makes it to where the Emperor and Baron Vladimir Harkonnen with Fade Rautha are. He walks up to Baron Vladimir Harkonnen and stabs his neck after he calls him his grandfather. He tells the Emperor, who is guarded with his soldiers, to bring the prisoners to the residency, to kill the Sardaukar, and give the Baron's body to the desert, and leaves with his troops chanting his name. Gurney finds Rabban in the desert and kills him in the of the Duke to avenge his friends. Soon they see the great houses are arriving, and Paul calls out the Emperor and the rest of them with Fade Rautha. He walks over to Chani and assures his love for her before he acknowledges his identity as Paul Atreides, son of Leto Atreides, Duke of Arrakis, for everyone there to hear. He gives out an order for the great houses that if they attack, their atomics will obliterate all spice fields. He tells the Emperor that he will take the hand of his daughter, Princess Irulan, to rule with him, but he will have to answer for his father. The Emperor replies that Paul's father was a weak man who chose his heart to rule. Paul lets him choose who will fight with him, and Fade Rautha volunteers. Gurney tries to interfere fear and get himself to fight with Feyd-Rautha, but Paul tells him he needs to fight him himself. Paul faces Feyd-Rautha to settle the conflict. The fight weakens Paul, who is stabbed and beaten harshly. Despite Feyd's cunning and brutality, Paul wins the fight and kills Feyd-Rautha, who was his cousin. He goes over to the Emperor and Princess Irulan request to spare her father's life, as she will be his bride as he demanded, and the throne will be his. Paul gives out his hand, and the Emperor bows down before him with everyone else in the room. Paul turns around to see Chani standing still before she leaves angrily, because Paul has asked to marry Princess Irulan. The Great House's answer refusing to honor his ascendancy, and his soldiers stand by him waiting for his order. Paul gives out his order to lead them to paradise. Chani, refusing to bow to Paul, goes out to the desert alone to summon and ride a sandworm as her relationship with Paul breaks because of the burdens of leadership. Jessica's unborn daughter asks what happened, and she tells her that Paul attacks the Great Houses and the Holy War will begin. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.